Here we are, episode 9. Adam, we finally made it. A peek behind the curtain, Adam. It's like, as soon as this recording is done, we're gonna watch the finale. We're gonna do this.
I mean, I'm gonna speed through these notes.
Because he needs to get to the end, baby.
I gotta watch the end of the show. We have been watching the show.
For a long... I mean...
We started in April.
It's so funny because we released this weekly, but that doesn't mean we should also watch it. I mean, we banked up for a little bit, but we didn't make up any lost time when we banked it up.
Somehow
we're back to this. There was a feeling of like, I need some time to process.
Okay. I almost hit the dog.
Don't hit my dog.
I'm taking the dog, dumbass.
I eat my Blizzard while we record.
Boys love... Oh, I have a...
Boys love Dairy Queen.
Boys love Dairy Queen.
Please sponsor us.
We got a comment from someone who said that when they watched episode 6, they were watching it in real time. Not in real time, I'm sorry, when the show was coming out, but like they were binging it. It was like they had this overjoyed feeling in episode 6 when they finally like consummate their love. Didn't even really register what happened at the end of the episode. Like it like washed over them, but they didn't intake what it meant. Until the next episode started, and they're at the club, and
they were
the
like,
club is
"Oh, that was an accident."
The club is disbanding because of the accident, and they were like, "I almost like had to turn it off because." Also, the hard part was like, this isn't based on anything. This is an original story. When I thought about that in terms of like in binging it, how that would feel, right? And I was like, the brilliance of that moment, of it being taken away so suddenly, is like, that is how quickly everything can turn in an instant, right? Not even accidents that are like nefarious, but like someone getting sick. Like COVID-19 came out of nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like
literally that feeling that it could just all change.
Everything is so precious, and you should value the time you have while you have it. That is so often repeated by so many people, right? And it's like kind of a cliche of like live each moment and the your last or whatever. But like, I do think at the heart of like what this story specifically is saying is like, you have such finite time on this art. You are eating a Blizzard while I am talking about death and philosophy.
There is finite time before that Blizzard melted all the way into liquid. Unlike some people...
I love liquid Blizzard.
I like my ice cream still in solid.
I like soup. But you have such finite time on this earth and everything can change in an instant. So why would you waste any amount of the time that you have without the person that makes you the happiest on
literally,
on
Sajang
earth?
Nim. The entire time she is just like...
And that's what like Jihyun has left this situation and like really understood. That is what he has taken away from this whole endeavor of being like, why am I going to spend the rest of my life being scared of every little thing?
Yeah.
When I could die from anything at any moment, it does not matter. Why not just live?
Why not just make content and live, Adam? Why not just make a video about everything?
Anyway, I thought that was a wonderful comment, and it really made me think about something that I hadn't really engaged with because we were watching it week to week. So
we start this episode right out of the gate with, I would say, like, one of the best examples of an audience surrogate ever. Therapist Nim is literally like...
Fully.
What the hell is wrong with you? Yes. You're being selfish.
So selfish.
And he is like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not even thinking about how he feels. Because you are just... have already crafted this entire story that you're saving him when you have no idea how he feels, what he feels right now. He's trying to get to you too.
There's something that talks about how even being selfless is selfish.
What were we?
There's something we talked about. Oh! It's Min Yoongi in
Oh, D-Day? Road to D-Day?
It wasn't in Amygdala.
Sometimes
let it go. I know you know anything that's now.
Yeah. That was even after a full cup of dairy. You know, I'm main vocal.
We could tell.
I'm main vocal. I'm Boys Love main vocal. You would say?
No.
Then who would be main vocal?
Friedrich, when he howls with the sirens.
The fire trucks?
Even being selfless is like an act of selfishness. And I think to some extent he thinks he's being
He's saving him.
He's saving him by being like, oh, I just won't engage. And she fully is like, you're an idiot.
Fucking idiot.
You're dumb.
You're dumb.
Look outside of yourself.
And it's so funny because he is so, like, flabbergasted by it. He's like, what are you
Is
talking
this how your
about?
therapist talks to you?
Back my Florida one.
The Filipino one.
The Filipina. Where she was just like, why did you need to do that? And I'm like, I don't know.
So he says he thought he was being selfish by seeing him again. He thought the selfishness lied in wanting to see him. That's where the selfishness came
Because
in.
he's like, if I wasn't selfish in wanting him to feel better about this grief that I have by taking him to this trip, then none of this would have happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the root of the selfishness that he keeps going back to.
Right.
But it's like, it's completely negating everything that happened in that trip.
Ji-hyun in this scenario is to him not a full person with like full,
Yes.
like can say yes or no to things.
Yes, he has
has no autonomy.
Yes.
He's just like he's just like a supporting character in the story of my life.
He is treating him like how people have treated him.
Yes.
But that's the thing, hurt people hurt people.
Well,
That is the behavior that he's used to, so that's all he knows.
so then you cut to Ji-hyun with
Junpyo walking.
and
Junpyo's like, well, he's basically telling him what happened.
what happened.
And
This feels like it's like 5 minutes after.
I know. And even Junpyo was like, so what are you going to do? And Jian is straight up like, we'll just have to come up with another way to get to
He
him.
says, these are the two lines he says. He says, I want to protect him and I don't believe him.
It's so telling about what that moment that they actually shared at the beach.
Yes. Ji-hyun was like listening to him.
Yes, it's not just
Because
like,
if a man that looked like Jaewon took my ass to the beach and it was like very flirty, and this is basically Ji-hyun's first date. Let me say this. My first date, I went to see The Bourne Ultimatum, which is so funny now in retrospect. But it was just a movie, so we went to the movies. I cannot tell you a single moment of that movie.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
yeah.
I mean, I was also 14, so it's a little different. But like, it's still that first full date energy. So it's very impressive that Ji-hyun could be present enough to even like register what Jaewon was actually talking about.
He is a person that wants to experience everything. So I think genuinely was trying to just be in the present at that moment. I think he realized at that trip exactly why he is there, why he talks to 80. The Super Friends get together basically. And
Super
like,
Friends,
it's
yes.
full Super Friends energy. Like, okay, let's rally it up. Let's strategize.
She's like,
She's playing devil's advocate, but in a way that like we still want this to happen, but you might just need to rethink it because you may not be thinking about how hard it is. I like that she put it in perspective that like he is also a completely different person now than what we know him from.
Yes.
And since this accident happened, so
Yes.
he must be going through something because he's not acting like his normal, warm, friendly self.
this is the only part of this whole series that has bumped me in terms of the writing, in terms of the dialogue specifically.
Did it feel like let's come up with a plan?
It felt
too
like
meeting?
it felt like there was a lot that I was fine with the therapist scene. I was fine with like the original Junpyo scene.
Was it because it was Ji-hyun having to know that like, oh, I'm doing it wrong too, or like?
I think it was just that it was like, well, why is he doing? It was just there were too many like questions that like I feel like could have been stretched out a little bit more. Not that I need the whole episode to then be those questions, but they were asking all of them in the same scene, and I was like, that was the only thing. But I know that they have one episode left after
Yeah.
this.
But I do think you're right. Like some of those things that Eddie said, she could have easily said them in previous episodes before.
The big one is she says, why is Jaewon being weird? Like, what? Have you thought about what is going on? And Ji-hyun was like, no, I haven't. Which I thought that was weird too, because I feel like
because I think it is. I guess I thought it was obvious.
it felt like it was obvious, but I guess when you're in it,
But I also don't know is that not that it's a mistranslation, but is there a context that we're not seeing? Like by weird, what specific characteristic is that we're not seeing?
Junpyo's like, well, because they're talking about NG and J1, they're back together. Blah,
Oh,
blah,
they're
blah,
like,
blah.
they're the hot new couple. So weird that he said that. I'm like, why are you following?
Doesn't Eri basically say what we say in the last episode where we were like, because she freaked out, it's so clear that J1 does like you. That's why she freaked out. Which I was like, listener to the pod.
Listener of the pod 80.
Blubber 80. Junpyo's like, oh, they posted a really cute pic together because they're like the campus it couple. And I follow them.
And they didn't show us the picture.
They did not show us the picture, which I thought was fascinating.
Because we didn't even show it later. They didn't show it at all. We see another Instagram later.
Mm-hmm.
So we never see this picture.
Mm-hmm.
We just see Jihyun's reaction.
The only photo ever seen them together is the ad for Surf Club. Yoonwon catches up with Jihyun outside, and she's like, hey, I have to talk to you about a thing.
I think we can
I
get
think
Surf
we can
Club.
get the Surf Club back together. We're going to get the band back together. It's very Muppets energy. We're going to get the band back together. And then, so Jihyun's like, okay,
Let's
I'll go
see at the club.
see you at the club. Jihyun shows up. J1 is already sitting there.
The shot is just J1, and then you see Jihyun coming in and sitting down next to him.
Now,
You thought that this was set up. You didn't. You were
this
like,
is my question. Is it set up?
I don't know. I think what happens afterwards, I think it genuinely Yoonwon wanted to actually talk to them about what.
I think she wanted to talk to them too. Do you think she was actually running late? Or do you think...
Yeah.
I don't think she's stupid.
Yeah.
I
She's
think
not
she
that old.
knows
That some.
that there is something between them, and that also, like, something's weird. Because, like, they just had gone out right before the accident. They had just gone out as, like, a group to go hang out and drink together. Jihyun goes and talks at J1's, like, disciplinary hearing, but then, like, doesn't stick around. They clearly haven't been speaking to each other. The vibes are rancid.
Jaewon has not been himself.
Right.
But that's the thing. I think they all know. I mean, maybe they just assume that he feels guilty. But like, they all knew that in the past 3 month or whatever, 3 months, that he's been different since the accident.
Anyway,
Jihyun reaches for his
the
hand.
holding of the hands.
Amen. He reaches for the hands. He pulls away. He reaches again with a little firmness, and he doesn't pull away.
No, he like accepts it. He like
Yeah.
starts to like hold it back.
Oof. Coming.
Don't. How?
Yoonwon is coming into the room, and they have to break up.
You're vile. I love this moment so much because the like really broken person being afforded like an act of kindness and they start to crack.
They start to cry. They let the help.
If this
in.
scene had continued on longer and Jaewon had started crying, I would not.
That was the thing. This could have been the breaking point.
Yes.
Like, we were so close. Like,
Yes.
if Yoonwon never came, it would have been the breaking point.
Yoonwon walks in, so they split. And she says that basically the school is like considering putting the club, like letting them have the club back together. But the only thing is that they need a proper documentation of what actually happened because they
need
are
to
considering that
they have
this
to
was
sanction it's an official club activity.
Right.
So that way,
and they have to explain why there was an accident. And Jihyun,
basically doesn't want to do it. Like, he knows that Jaewon is there, so he's like, can I just say it's all my fault or that I had an accident?
he wants to like just take all the blame, and then he kind of just like leaves.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just gonna leave. He
I'm gonna-
basically says, I'm just gonna quit surfing club, and then I'll just say,
I'm
I'll just
busy.
write a report.
I'm busy with work anyway. It's fine.
And I'll just write a report that it was all my fault. So that way, hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
And he leaves.
Then he leaves. And this was
gripping.
This is the best scene in the show. Like, period.
Yeah.
This is an incredible
Woo!
performance by, I don't even know this act. My phone is the phone. My phone is the camera.
My phone is
I
the-
do not know this actress's name who plays Yunwan.
But my God.
It's right here. This is the name. This performance of this small monologue that she has, where all of the bubbly, vivacious, like really warm energy that she has been the whole season, you as the audience member and Jaewon in this moment, you see it fall apart and your heart like truly aches for this girl who like no one has asked, how are you doing through all this? You were like the leader of the club. You got this club taken away from you. She's been like, so like, everything's fine. It's fine. We're going to get through it. My friend hit my other friend. My friends are fighting. No one's doing well. Everyone's freaking out. People are yelling at the club.
It's just her finally letting go of the barriers that she's put up. And it's just like you get in these little small lines of like, I can't even get a job. I have to work part-time. These small things that she's letting out that she's been holding in because surfing club is the like one thing that helps her feel like she can do all of those
But also,
things.
like, if you're the leader of a club, if this is your main extracurricular, right? This is the
And
one
now-
thing
and it
on your
failed.
resume.
And it failed because you had an accident under your
What are you going to do
leadership.
about professional prospects?
Yeah.
In a culture and society in which, like,
It's
what
all
you
about
do,
what you do.
Yes. And then
Women.
this camera shot being
So close.
so close to her face.
Not even like usually how close.
No, this
we
is the
would-
closest
it's-
we've been in the show to any character.
Yeah.
And it is like the raw pain with which she is trying to hide everything.
Everything.
And is at this point, it is
Can't do
a
it anymore.
step too far. She doesn't know what happened, right? No one knows what happened. We don't know what happened with the accident.
Yeah.
Like what the official story is. She knows there is no way, especially in the way that Jihyun said it, where he was like, I'm just going to take the blame, it's fine. She knows that that is not the truth.
Yeah.
And the kindness and the selflessness, even though I just talked about being selfless, but like the selflessness of being like, I'll just throw myself under the bus for you guys. It's fine. I don't worry about it.
And the selfishness of that. Like the selfishness of that act, like you said, being selfless can be selfish sometimes. By Jihyun kind of doing that to Yoonwon, it feels like a selfish act of like no one is telling me the truth
Yes.
in order for this club to still exist.
Yeah.
And now I am SOL.
Yeah. If we were talking about earlier how Jaewon has like compartmentalized people in his brain as side characters in his life, this moment in which she breaks down in front of him and
Yes.
his reaction, his like true, I am seeing you for the first time.
Yeah. It's him breaking down what the therapist said of like him being selfish. It's the first time he actually sees and realizes that him shutting himself off in order to quote unquote protect people
Hurts
around him
everyone
hurts
else
everyone
around him.
because he's never
It helps no one to do this.
Yeah. Him genuinely portraying and evoking this discovery that he has.
Yeah.
That like I have been hurting people in my efforts to protect myself.
Mm-hmm.
The turning point for Jaewon too,
Yes.
for sure. I don't think if this didn't happen,
He's a different person after this scene.
yeah. This is what I'm saying. This would be such a good play. I want to see this on stage.
Yeah.
The act break would be them leaving to the ocean, and then you don't actually see what happens in the
Yeah,
trip.
yeah. But then you miss all the like,
I know, but you miss all the.
but you miss the I have to I'm here.
Oh, why'd you kiss me to give you trauma? Why'd you kiss me to give you trauma?
Yeah. Trauma. Cut to Eunji and Jaewon on a little date night. What is going on?
I'm just such an empath. Though, like, if I was in Eunji's position and knowing the situation that my quote unquote boyfriend is in, and he is fully catatonic every time I'm with him, it's a lost game, girl.
But also like, well, that. But also, I mean,
If
there
that's
is
not really what it's about, then obviously you don't see that. If it really is about just securing the bag, she
right.
will see past
I mean, there is a level of like, if your partner went through something traumatic, You shouldn't just be like, and they're like having PTSD or whatever. He's having a depressive state.
You have to
about
let
it.
them go through. You have to let
I understand.
let them ride.
Also,
it out.
on one hand, it's just that we know more about Unji than just like girl who's trying to like cheer up her boyfriend after an accident.
Yes. If you're the plausible deniability here is that she's just trying to get him to get back to how things were.
To normal, yeah.
To normal.
And she's like,
This is so messy.
we should go to Busan.
Her obsession with let's go to a hotel tonight. Let's just go to a hotel tonight. And how it comes full circle in this episode. It's poetic.
She's out of control. I mean, truly. In like a really insane way. It's not fun. Yeah. It's actually not fun anymore. I gotta be honest. I mean, you are an adult.
I'm glad that it does kind of crescent here. It doesn't get any. This is the worst.
This is the last. Yeah. So she says no. We're not gonna go out. We're not gonna go to Busan. They're walking around.
And
they
like,
walk by
Sajang님's place.
Sajang님's restaurant. And she's like, I'm hungry for some meat. Let's eat here. She's fully knowing
that he's in there.
That Jihyun works there. He looks at the restaurant. He knows that Jihyun works there. So he's like, I don't want to eat there.
He's like, we can eat pork belly anywhere. Let's go.
It's while they are eating.
Insidious.
This is insane. She is cuckoo bananas. She sees Jihyun come outside for like a breath of fresh air. And she's like,
those pork fumes will really get you. Adam, don't point at my stove.
RJ had the gas on.
Adam.
Today. I get home and I was like, is the gas on? Girl, the gas was just filling the room.
Be grateful.
We're very close to a Sylvia Plath situation. Oh no, she walked into... Wait. Sylvia Plath was Rocks in the River.
Virginia Woolf is Rocks in the River.
Virginia Woolf is Rocks in the River.
Girl, know
Sorry.
your sad women.
My sad women. She sees him out and so she's like, oh, J1, let's go.
I know you're probably just really stuffy. Let's go outside and have
I know you're not eating well because you need to like have a also need some fresh air. They go outside.
This is fresh air.
I'm Terry Gross. They go outside and she just starts making out with him. Now the funny part is she should have faced him the other way.
Yes.
So then she could make the eye contact with him.
Yes. But instead, Jaewon ends up making the eye contact with Jihyun. Which
Jihyun looks horrified.
You could say that could be worse because in her mind, Jihyun will catch us and see that Jaewon is kissing me. Can make eye contact with him. I don't think she expected the eye contact happening.
Sure. I guess she thought he was just going to see and then maybe go inside.
Yeah.
Jaewon
breaks off the kiss with you. Jihyun walks inside, and Jaewon goes, let's go home.
And she's like, no, let's go together. And he's like, no.
No, I'm just really tired.
I wonder if do you think he knew that she was, like, using him in that way?
When this gets explained later as to, like, when he explains why he broke up with her in the first place,
Bloop.
Has he always, he's always had that information. So yes. It's like, yeah, I think he knows that she is doing this on purpose. Because he's realizing this entire time he is just kind of like gave her an excuse that like it was my fault.
Yeah.
That now it's like, oh, what you did back then is just like
you haven't changed.
Yes, the behavior that you're doing right now.
Selfishness.
That is the episode.
And then he looks up and all of a sudden he's at the restaurant, but it's closed. Junpyo is like, hey, I found Jaewon's Finsta.
It's giving when you meet someone.
It's giving our roommate in college who would literally is a professional like Googler of people.
Yes, you would give them
do you know the girl on
TikTok? Who would like all docs? You bet you can never find me.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the pictures is of Jihyun sitting on a rock.
Well, it's a photography Finsta.
It is. It's not sexy Finsta, unfortunately. It's not an alt Twitter account.
It's not an alt Twitter.
Unfortunately.
But there's one picture of Jihyun.
Mm-hmm. From his like from behind.
Yeah, it's so funny because Junpei was like, "Oh well, I know it's him because they like they follow the same people. It's a nickname that he's used in."
The description of how he figured it out is so funny to me.
But finding that picture, I think, solidified for Jihyun. That's like, yeah, I was. It solidified. Like I'm right that he's not.
Yes. Now I last week did not say this, but in my head. So you have to trust me that I'm not lying.
In
my
the
head,
show we were watching this. He did make this. He made this reaction. Was like, I was gonna say this.
I had a feeling that he was going to gift him a camera because you have to close the loop on that.
You just felt it in your spirit.
Yeah, because the camera was the reason they went to the beach. The camera caused the accident. The camera is the symbol of the trauma that he still has from his brother. He has to fully put that behind him and accept
that
a
happened.
New camera. Also, the camera being the thing of being like, this is what you like. This is what you are passionate about.
Yes. I know this one thing about you.
Yes. Eunji and Jaewon are still somehow, truly, working on this project. They have been working on this. We don't know how long he was in a coma. At least
it was like 3 months, I think.
At least 1 month.
Yeah.
They have been working on this project for the whole semester.
This class feels like senior synthesis, senior thesis type almost, where it's like it's not like they're learning anything in this class because it feels like it's always just work study.
But it's being taught by
it is taught by a TA.
Taehyung.
So that's why I'm thinking maybe because it's like a TA taught class that it's just like the class is just us to talk about what you're going through with your research. But this time is spent.
Girl, they're in business
research.
school. What research do people do? I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about business. Support the arts. Anyway, they're sitting in the library. They're sitting in the stacks, and they're like, "Great, good job. We wrapped up the project. The project's over."
I'm interested to know for the women that are watching the show, like, what do you feel about Eunji kind of like using this sexuality to her advantage? It feels like she is just tunnel visioning, like, I just need to get him in bed and everything will be okay. Or like everything will be like turned around.
It is the thing that's so funny to, let me say this. Jaewon and Jihyun have spent a weekend together. A weekend in the country.
Oh, I see where you're going.
They are in love. That is, the show is like building on, they are like soulmates, basically. Yes. And there is always this funny thing when the trope of it being like, there's the people in love, there's the people you root for, that you want them together. And then the secondary person or the other person is trying to use like sexuality, and that's like the antagonist here. That's the only thing that like I push back against, because like it's not that clean and simple, right? There's so many layers to everything, but he's done. I mean, I think truly the
Yoonwon and seeing Jihyun,
yes,
I think it just have all led up to this moment of him being like, I think
what am I doing?
Yeah,
that's what this scene felt like, where he was like, we're back here. We're doing this again.
Yes.
Why are we doing this again?
Yeah.
Why did I let this happen? Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, I think this is it. And I love that she's like, yeah, we just said. Immediately, she knows what he's talking about.
But she's like,
we
just
finished the project. Yeah.
You're
right. And he's like, no, us. And she's like, yeah, no, us. Having finished the project is finished. We together have finished the project because we are together and the project's done. And he's fully like,
girly.
Oh, no, Miss Girlina, it's a no for me, dog.
And then his way of doing it was to finally basically tell her, like, this is the reason why we broke up. This is the reason why I broke up with you that first time.
Well, so I said all that to say this is why she has to be the sexual one, because she is clearly like...
Because it's like
It's her thing. She can't, like... She's insatiable.
People can be sexual. That's fine. But it's in such a... It's just another way that Jaewon is of use to someone else.
Yeah. So while he was in the Navy, he like signed up for the Navy. He did not
He speaks specifically the Navy.
pick the Navy.
So, because...
I mean...
In the Navy, yes, you can sail the 7 seas. Yes, you can put your mind at ease.
On a big boat with a lot of men, nowhere to go. Miss Girl. While he was on leave, she was gone for long periods of time. Not like in the army where apparently they can like take little
visits
and trips and stuff.
J-Hope getting visits. Yeah.
We know.
We know.
She had a gentleman call her. He came home at one point
To like surprise her or whatever.
and he saw her.
Literally go into a hotel with the sunbae that they had that rumor
Yes.
that they were dating.
And then he waited there all night
Yeah.
outside. No, this is crazy. Girl, I would have left.
I don't think he would have. I think he probably came back to see. But
No, I think he waited there all night. Because if you want to catch in the act, don't allow them to do any plausible deniability and not be like, no, we
That's
left
true.
20
I need
minutes
to
later.
know.
I think that would be worse if they left 20 minutes later, to be honest.
Oh my
But
God.
then he watched them leave in the morning.
And then go
and
on
then
a
they
date.
went on a date.
Like a proper date.
And that was like the clincher where it was like, it wasn't just that you fucked.
It's a.
It would be one thing if you fucked because
She
gone,
was like, I'm
she
gone.
has nothing to
yeah,
do, blah, blah, blah. You didn't need to go on a date.
That means that you were actually having a relationship.
Right. You were seeing each other.
You were seeing each other.
And she can't even, she has no,
Nowhere to go.
she's caught.
She's caught.
Like a little rat.
And she
Like a little rat.
she freaks out. She tries to chase him, and she is just like, it was just really hard, blah, blah, blah. I'm so sorry. I don't have an
So
excuse.
she puts some of the blame back on him by being like, you chose to be in the
chose
Navy.
to be in the Navy, I know. And I think that's when he was starting to realize
You know who made the choice? The government. The government made the choice that we men have to do this. What are we talking about here? Anyway.
He knew that like she was doing that. Like I could
Yes.
feel that he was like,
It has always been in the back of his mind.
yes. So he was like, if that's what you think, if that's what you believe that it is my fault, then yes, then I am sorry.
And then he walks
And then
away.
he walks away.
And she can't. What are you going to do? I mean, truly, what are you going to do? Yeah. The last thing he says to her is basically the exact same thing he said to Ji-hyun at the end of episode 8.
Yes.
Where he was like, listen, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then walks away.
Yeah.
Like almost verbatim, the same lines.
Yeah.
I was like, so he goes where he thinks
He'll find Jihyun.
Ji-hyun, which is the bar, but it's just Sajang-nim. And this scene she's such a great character.
Yeah.
She fully is like, oh, look at this handsome man coming into my restaurant. Oh my God. Very fun. Very that energy. They're more just they will literally be like, you're handsome.
Even like when we watch like variety shows and idols and stuff, it's like a thing. They're like, wow, you're really tall. Like, wow,
your visuals,
you're so pretty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, she is also just like, it looks like you have a lot of troubles, and I don't understand why. Because you're handsome.
Is it money?
Is it money? And he's like, no, it's not.
Is it
that.
health?
No, it's not that. Then what?
Then
the
you
fuck
have no
you have
problems.
No problems, girly. And he was like, well, unfortunately, it's like the one that's not those things. And she was like, when people have those problems, like it's harder on them. But if it's not those, then that means the problems can be fixed or something like that.
Yeah, basically. If you don't have those first two, then you don't have any real problems, basically.
Yeah, then those problems are things that you are making problems.
Yes. And meanwhile, Ji-hyun is doing some playlist recommendations.
Ji-hyun is like doing homework and listening to like, I'm assuming Korean Delilah. And it's just fully like, this next song goes out to the lovers out there.
I miss Delilah. I gotta be honest.
Delilah.
And we get Conan Gray's song, The Story.
The girlies have to tell me what Conan Gray's orientation is, if they have said what it is. But the only time I've ever seen Conan Gray is a video of him being toured the SM building by Key. And it is truly like...
Heard.
You know.
Yes, chef. 2 turtle doves.
2 turtle doves. Turtle doves. The
He
power of
sends the
music.
song.
He sends the song. He's like, Hyung, listen to this.
Hyung is at the Han River, where everyone must venture to when they are in their most contemplative thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
When idols post selfies and they're at the Han River and it's nighttime,
they're going through
what are you
baby.
going through, baby?
What are
Tell
you
me.
going through? Tell me.
Drop it in the caption. Tell me what you are thinking about.
And then we get to a Station of the Cross, Adam.
Do we? What is
Yes.
the Station of the Cross?
The
kiss?
montage.
The montage. The montage. The orphanage.
The BL has to show you all of the moments
Yes.
in case you've missed it. And here's what you missed on.
This is actually wildly. This show is so unlike normal K-dramas where it doesn't do the end of the episode like
Oh,
montage.
yeah, that's true.
The thing that we
The one
do
that
as
we
the joke.
do as a joke at the end of every episode.
This show does not do, which
Yeah.
is very funny. Also, no product placement, but no one does product placement like the Thai girlies.
Oh, yeah.
They're overcome with emotion. Everything's rushing back. He's coming back to life.
I think it's like, I couldn't tell if the text caption was showing that like it read or that he clicked the song, but Jihyun knew. He was like, he listened to the song. So it must have...
There's something that I like. Maybe it, maybe it doesn't even say. Maybe it's just like
knew.
this, like...
He just knew that he did.
Because he's said before, I know you're reading this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never been wrong. I think he just like, he just
He's
knows.
like, he read it. He
He can
listened to the
feel it
song.
in his bones.
And then you see Jaewon running.
Running.
I mean,
And
you can say
she-
this is also a Station of the Cross, the finding of the other, the chasing for the other.
And then Jihyun looks out the window.
And he's like, he's here.
My heart was racing.
Yeah.
This is like, this is so cinematic. The like
Yeah.
music swelling, them like coming to meet each other. They're finally face to face, and this kiss,
This
kiss,
sensational,
this kiss.
yes, centrifugal motion, perpetual bliss. This kiss, this kiss.
I am less. I truly. We make jokes about kisses, but like, I am less picky about kisses than I think other people are. I think if it works in the context of what the show is doing and what the show
Yeah,
is aiming
because
for,
like Semantic Error doesn't have like a passion-driven kiss like this, I would say, but it's still like
No.
not. It's like it still fit the whole thing that they were trying to do.
Yes.
you know,
Like,
Fucking
uh,
shoulder
like-
to cry on. You never even
shoulder
saw
to
a
cry
kiss,
on. They never
but
saw a kiss, but
we left.
it
happy.
moved me.
Yeah.
This.
Kiss.
Yes. Oh my god. What is to? Just play the damn kiss.
This kiss. This kiss.
It's so good. I mean, they
don't want
they are
another
hungry
heartbreak.
for it, but it's not.
Another time to cry.
It's not horny.
It's just like we've waited for so long to do it.
It's like, and I'm sorry. It's like
an I'm
it's like I
sorry.
see you
It's like,
again. It's
yeah.
I'm.
It's like all
There's
Jay.
so much.
It's so
packed
charged
into
from
the- yes.
Jaewon's side.
Yes.
This kiss. This kiss.
I felt like I was on crack watching. Like I was
Yeah.
on meth. I was like, what?
Yeah, on a high.
Mm-hmm.
Get him in.
Get him in. She did it.
She did the damn thing.
All right, let's wrap this shit up so we can watch the next
So we're gonna
episode.
finish this up, okay? See you next week. MVPs.
It's Yoonwon.
Oh,
It's
I
Yoonwon.
know it. Thinking about it still
mean,
breaks my heart.
It's the kiss
It's
specifically,
yeah.
but it's Yoonwon. But honestly, everyone eats in this episode. The therapist, when she's like, "You're fucking selfish.
Sajang Nim.
Sajang Nim. I mean, even Unchi
even
doing this
Unchi
like
just, like,
fully
full,
like breaking down.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, everyone is like
We've reached at the height for everyone. I feel like that have like emotional toll and stakes.
yeah.
But for the people who have been going through it, the Yoon ones, even like the therapist and Sajang Nim, it's like, get it the fuck together already. Like, everyone has reached their limits.
And there's so few people in this episode that had lines, and yet I didn't feel like they were like they're still in the world of like a bunch of other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's great. It's great. No notes. 10
No
out of 10.
notes. Okay, here we go.
Bye. See you next week.